There was a time when Dwarka was at the height of its glory. Its golden palaces touched the morning sunlight. The streets were filled with merchants, musicians, soldiers, and devotees. And at the center of it all lived Shri Krishna, the King of Dwarka. People came to Krishna with beautiful gifts. Some brought gold, some brought precious jewels, some brought fragrant flowers and rare foods. But far away from the royal palace, at the edge of the city, lived an old devotee named Madhav. He was neither rich nor powerful. He lived in a tiny hut beside the sea and earned just enough to survive by repairing broken fishing nets. Yet every morning, before beginning his work, Madhav would stand before a small clay image of Krishna. He had no sandalwood, no gold lamp, no expensive flowers. So every day, he offered Krishna one small wildflower he found near the shore. And he would say, "Krishna, I have nothing worthy of you, but I have my heart. Please accept that." Then he would smile. For years, Madhav followed the same simple routine. Every morning, he remembered Krishna. Every evening, he thanked Krishna. He had very little, but his faith was endless. One morning, however, something terrible happened. A violent storm struck Dwarka. Waves crashed against the shore. Boats were thrown against the rocks. Fishing nets were destroyed. Madhav's little hut was badly damaged. When the storm finally ended, he had almost nothing left. His roof was gone. His food was gone. Even the little clay image of Krishna had fallen and broken. Madhav picked up the broken pieces and held them against his chest. Tears rolled down his face. But instead of complaining, he whispered, "Krishna, perhaps you wanted to come out of this little house and live in my heart." He smiled through his tears. The next morning, Madhav had nothing to offer. No flower, no food, no lamp, nothing. Still, he walked to the shore. He looked toward the distant palace of Krishna and folded his hands. "My lord, today I have no offering." He paused. Then he smiled. "So today, I will offer you my tears." At that very moment, something unexpected happened inside the palace. Krishna was sitting in his royal chamber when he suddenly became silent. The servants noticed his expression change. Rukmini looked at him and asked, "What happened, Krishna?" Krishna slowly stood. He looked toward the sea and softly said, "Someone is calling me." Rukmini smiled. "Who?" Krishna answered, "Someone who has nothing, yet gives me everything." Without saying another word, Krishna walked out of the palace. The guards were shocked. The king of Dwarka was leaving without his royal procession, without his chariot, without his soldiers. Krishna walked alone toward the shore. Meanwhile, Madhav was sitting beside his broken hut. His eyes were closed. He was silently remembering Krishna. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. He opened his eyes and froze. Standing before him was Krishna himself. Madhav could not speak. He looked at Krishna, then at his broken hut, then back at Krishna. Finally, he whispered, "My lord, why did you come here?" Krishna smiled. Then he sat beside him. "You called me." Madhav lowered his head. "But I didn't call you with prayers." Krishna replied, "You didn't need words." Madhav's eyes filled with tears. Krishna continued, "When your hut was destroyed, you did not blame me. When your offering disappeared, you did not stop loving me. When you had nothing left to give, you still remembered me." Krishna gently placed his hand on Madhav's shoulder. "Tell me, Madhav, how could I stay inside my palace, when my devotee was sitting alone in the rain?" Madhav began to cry. He touched Krishna's feet. But Krishna immediately lifted him up. "Do not bow to me today." Madhav looked surprised. Krishna smiled. "Today, let me sit beside you." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The waves moved gently behind them. The morning sun slowly appeared over the sea. And Krishna said something Madhav would remember for the rest of his life. "People think devotion means giving me something. But true devotion is when you give me your heart, even when life has taken everything else away." Madhav looked at Krishna and whispered, "Then, my lord, I have only one thing left." Krishna asked, "What?" Madhav placed his hand over his heart. "You." Krishna's eyes filled with compassion. He smiled and said, "And that is all I ever wanted." For the first time in many days, Madhav felt completely peaceful, not because his hut had been rebuilt, not because he had become wealthy, but because he knew Krishna had never forgotten him. From that day onward, Madhav's life changed. But not because Krishna filled his hut with gold, not because Krishna made him wealthy, Something much greater happened. Madhav no longer felt alone. Whenever life became difficult, he remembered that morning by the sea. He understood something many people spend their entire lives trying to learn. God does not always remove the storm. Sometimes, He simply sits beside you until the storm passes. And perhaps that is the most beautiful thing about devotion. You may think Krishna is far away in a palace. You may think He is waiting for grand prayers, expensive offerings, or perfect words. But perhaps, when you cry silently, when nobody understands your pain, when you keep faith despite having no proof, He is already sitting beside you. You may not see Him. You may not hear Him. But your love is never unnoticed. Because Krishna does not measure the size of your offering. He measures the love inside it. So if today you feel forgotten, if your prayers seem unanswered, if life has taken away something you deeply loved, don't lose faith. Look at the story of Madhav. He lost his home. He lost his possessions. He even lost the little image of Krishna he worshipped every day. Yet he never lost Krishna from his heart. And in the end, he discovered something priceless. When you cannot reach God, sometimes God comes looking for you. You may feel alone in your darkest moment, but if your heart still remembers Krishna, you are never truly alone. If this story touched your heart, write in the comments, "Krishna, I trust you." And if you believe Krishna is always with you, subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories of faith, devotion, and divine love. May Krishna fill your heart with peace, courage, and faith. Radhe Radhe.